Good afternoon. Welcome. This is an exciting time. It really is. And we really appreciate you all being here and your support of this announcement. And I tell you, yes, I would say quickly but prudently, right? And not with haste. And I really have to thank our president, Dr. Houston Davis, for allowing us to proceed with prudence and being quick. And he's always available. He's always accessible, and thank you for allowing us to make these type decisions. Of course, then he also had to visit with our Board of Trustees, and we thank them for being accessible and responsive, because Friday and Saturday were pretty rapid. And so we were able then to announce that at our basketball game, and the only way we could do that is because our president was responsive, and our board was responsive, and our staff was able to put that together quickly. And again, now this decision was made finally Saturday afternoon, and game time was 7 o'clock. So we had a lot to get done. So thank you, staff, for all the promotion that you always do to make us all look good, our student athletes, our coaches, our staff. Thank you for that. As you would expect, we had a lot of interest. We always do for all of our jobs, because this is a great place. People want to work here. We've been successful in many sports for many years, long before Division I, and it's the tradition at UCA. It's what we've all been a part of. So people want to be a part of that too, and that's a great testament to all of us. But I knew we had on our staff someone who was going to be a head Division I football coach one day. No doubt about it. Everybody knew that, right? He proved to me, Nathan Brown proved to me on Friday and Saturday in a 36-hour period that his time is now. He's ready now. He's ready to be our head football coach and lead these young men. And I tell you, I am so proud to introduce Nathan Brown to you, and I hope you'll join me in welcoming our head football coach, Nathan Brown.
That's enough. Y'all good. I appreciate that. Wow. Words cannot describe what the last 36 to 48 hours of my life have been like. This is not something, people, I got asked, I think in a interview the other day by Justin Aker. He asked me, he said, did you picture, when you came here as a freshman, as a recruited athlete to the University of Central Arkansas, did you ever picture that you would be at this place? And I just laughed at him, and I said, I actually did. This is not something that I want you guys to think that I take for granted. This is something that is near and dear to my heart. This university is a place that I have a lot invested in, just as all of you do. And it's a place that I'm gonna carry with great pride, and I'm gonna continue the tradition that we have done for the past 100 years. I couldn't be more excited. First of all, I want to thank President Davis. Man, he's been all over the world lately, and to get this done so quick, that was amazing. I don't want to tell on him, but he walked over on Saturday, and he probably doesn't even know I noticed this, but he was carrying a 5-hour energy shot. I mean, you weren't you? Were you? He's obviously in his short amount of time here, he's been he's been as good as anything that this university has had in a long time, and it's evident with what he's doing and the exposure he's given us. Secondly, Dr. Teague. I've known Dr. Teague for a long time. I went up, one thing I wanted to make sure when Dr. Teague gave me the opportunity to visit with him is that I wasn't the convenient choice, that I was the right choice. And that was what I wanted to make sure I instilled in him, because I know his track record of making great hires. The many coaches that he has been fortunate enough to bring to our university, and I wanted to be the next one in that line that he's brought. Third of all, to the Board of Trustees, again, Dr. Teague mentioned it, how quick it happened, because whether you know it or not, the general fan, stuff's accelerated this time of year, and specifically and I'll talk about it in a minute, but specifically with the December signing date. We've got a new early signing period, and We needed to field a staff, and we needed to get on the road, and this is in the middle of a crucial time for recruiting and continue the process that we built over the last few years. So thanks to the Board of Trustees for making this a quick turnaround. Last but definitely not least, to the fans and supporters. I mean, goodness gracious, you guys mean the world to myself. Y'all mean the world to this program. I can't tell you how important you guys are, each and every one of y'all. And I want to make sure that the Bear fans know that our doors are open. There is an open door policy to our players. There's an open door policy to our student athletes. And there's an open door policy to our coaching staff. And I want to make sure that we are at you guys' fingertips because you are why we are doing this. And I want to thank y'all, and I couldn't be more tickled to death to represent y'all and this logo for this university for years to come. I mean, it's funny, I get to this point, I didn't even thank my wife, you know. I've got Jessica, Riley, and Luke, and let me tell you something, they think they own Estes Stadium already. So they had pizzas. Jessica brought some pizza up to the staff. We were working late last night, and they had pizza going everywhere. But you know, I make a joke to my players, and some of the guys are in here on Friday nights of meetings. You know, I'd meet with the offense, and we would talk, and you know, I would always say, and this is kind of going back to Jessica, I would always say, you know, and yeah, I don't know if any of y'all followed us on Twitter and stuff, but a lot of times after we'd win a football game, I would say there's no better feeling than winning a football game. And I meant that. And I would make a joke with our guys. I'd say, there's no better feeling than winning a football game. A close second is when I got married to Jessica. A close second. But they knew I was joking, and the funny thing is we had 4 or 5 guys on our offensive unit that are married, so they could relate to that. But no, it's you know, Jessica and my kids mean the world to me, and you guys, she's going to be the forefront of this program with me. That's another thing that's special about this place. Speaking of her, is this is where we met. You know, I was drawn to this place, and this is where I was able to meet my wife, and what a great act of faith that was, you know. I want to thank former coaches and players. This program has ticked along at a high level for a long time. It didn't matter if Nathan Brown was here or if Dr. T was able to bring Nick Saban in. This program's going to win. And the tradition has been built here. The blueprint has been molded. And, you know, to those coaches and players that have been in the past, our doors are open to you guys as well, and couldn't be more excited about that. Not to mention, I had my first team meeting last night. My main concern right now is with our current players. They're our guys, and this is a time of change. This is a time of you know, reflection of what's to come. And my response last night, you know, did nothing but solidify where our team is at right now. We lost, I believe, around 22 seniors, but the guys that are in that room right now are hungry. They're frustrated with a second-round loss, and they're ready to get to work. And I reassured them that this is going to be about family and trust, and we're going to learn to lean on each other, and it's going to be something that's going to be special for years to come. And they responded in a positive manner. I can go recruit at every end of the spectrum and bring all the kids in I want, but the most important thing to me right now is those guys, and I want them to make sure they know that. So couldn't be more pleased with visiting with them last night. Want to mention to y'all a little bit about my vision. I had an opportunity, I said earlier, to meet with Dr. Teague, and I didn't want to take that opportunity for granted. This is something that I've been preparing for the past few years, something that I didn't want him to think that I was taking lightly. I wanted to make sure he knew that I had a vision and a process for us to get there. Our program standard, our number one goal is to graduate every player. Met with Dr. Davis, and he said, look, you know, I want good kids, good student athletes in your program. That's the number one thing I want. That's our number one goal each and every year is to graduate every player we got. We want to win championships. That's number 2. And I'm not just talking about Southland Conference championships. I have been a part of a great staff, and I have seen the mold of how to attain a national championship, and I've got things I want to tweak, and I've got things I want to do, and our coaching staff is going to execute that to get us back a national championship. We are itching for a national championship here. We've got a tradition that goes back to 3 national championships in the NAIA days. We will get there again. That's our second concern. Third is community involvement. I want to make sure that we're available to you. I want to make sure that we are putting out a positive reflection to this logo and representing our program with the best of our ability. And our guys are going to be great in the community, and we're going to be available in the community. We want to win at home. We've got one of the most unique atmospheres in the country. It's no secret that the Stripes draw recruits. You see people out there all the time when they're driving by. That's the first thing they take a picture of. There's not a more beautiful campus in the southeastern part of the country, but I'm telling you, the first thing they go look at is that purple and gray field. We got to win at home, and if you win at home, you're going to win championships because you're going to win. You got to take a few on the road, and if you win at home, you're going to make the playoffs, and that's going to be one of our goals. And the last but not least, as far as our standards go, I want to beat the FBS programs. We're going to play the Tulsas of the world, the Oklahoma States of the world, the Arkansas States. We're going to go to Hawaii. We're going to go play big-time programs. We have been able to win a few of those against some mid-major schools, and we've been close with several others. That's got to be a goal that we want to achieve as a football team, and that's one of our program standards. The next thing I want to talk about is the values of our program. We're going to carry 3 values that are going to lead us each and every day that our players are going to live by. I want to make sure that our administration, our coaching staff, and our student athletes know that this is what we're going to live by and what we're going to be about each and every day. The first of those is going to be service. We're going to serve. We need to be selfless and not have selfishness in our program. And if you're serving, then that's what's happening. I want to have sacrifice. Second, sacrifice. When you're sacrificing for your teammates, for your coaches, for your community, then good things are going to happen. And the third is respect. In this day and age, it's important for 18 and 22-year-olds to respect the people around them, and we're going to run a program that shows respect and puts our best foot forward as we represent you as the fans and you as the administration and our university. And I want to make sure that you guys know that our staff. Our staff is working tirelessly right now. We're going to put together the best coaching staff available. I've been, it's funny, the first 36 hours of this, I don't know that I've slept 4 hours. But that being said, it's been as Dr. Teague said, it's been a tremendous response of people wanting to come coach for this program. The overall image of this program nationally, regionally, and in this state is second to none, and people want to be a part of that. And I can assure you that we will put together the best staff that we can. That being said, there may be some questions about some staff issues, who left, who went. There will be more to come on that. I will tell you that Ryan Howard will be with me. He is staying. Gunnar Boykin is staying, and then defensive line coach Tony Davis is staying. All 3 of those were on the prior staff, had opportunities to leave in some sort of capacity, decided to take a risk and tell Coach Campbell that they were going to hope that I got the job, and they decided to stick around. And I got a text from a couple of them Saturday morning. They knew I was going to meet with Dr. Teague, and they said, "No pressure." I said, man, but listen, that's what I live under. I love pressure. I think pressure's a good thing, and it brings the best out of you. And then I've got a defensive coordinator that I'm waiting for, I can't mention his name yet, but very excited about him. Brought back Brooks Hollingsworth. Brooks, raise your hand. Brooks Hollingsworth. Brought back Brooks. Brooks is going to be a valuable asset to me as a former head coach at the college level, and then this is, I believe, his 4th stint here, right? 4th stint, and Coach Hollingsworth's a UCA Hall of Famer. He bleeds purple blood, and that's the kind of people we need here representing you guys as a program. Couldn't be more tickled to death to have Brooks and Kathy on board. Recruiting. To win a national championship, recruiting is important. And our guys, I've got a coach right now in Florida. I've got a coach right now in Houston. I've got a coach right now in Mississippi. We are hitting it full force. It's important to win a national championship, and that's our goal here. We've got to get bigger, and we've got to get faster. if you've been watching the FCS playoffs, you watch the James Madisons of the world, the North Dakota States of the world. They're big, they're physical, and they control the line of scrimmage. And I'm talking a little football now, so I apologize about that. But we've got to develop our program from the inside out. And when I say that, on the offense and defensive lines, to win the big game, you can have great skill guys, but you got to have big guys. You got to have big guys that control the line of scrimmage, and that allows you to control the ball and control the clock, and good things happen when that happens. So our goal is to bring in the best probably 22 to 24 student athletes we can in this recruiting class, and we're not going to sleep until we do. I can promise you that. So that's a big part of what we're trying to do. I want to finish by just kind of giving you all a vision of, in my mind, what is next for University of Central Arkansas football program. And I was talking to Dr. Teague about this. We've been a part of this Division I process since 2006, and I have been a part of it every step of the way. And we have had unparalleled success for the Division I movement. You think about it. I mean, we're winning at a 73% clip over the last 11 years, but that's not good enough. What is next? We've got as deep and talented team as we've ever had. We bring in a few more pieces, and we're going to build on what finished as the number 3 ranked team in the country. I can promise you that. I think we're a sleeping giant. And when I say that, think about the Boise States of the world, the North Dakota States of the world, the Georgia Southerns of the world. It wasn't in the late 90s, Boise State was a Division II program. This place can be special. We've got a unique location. We've got a unique community. We've got top-of-the-line facilities, and we've got the best fans in the world. There's no reason why we can't put our name with the North Dakota States of the world, the Georgia Southerns of the world, the Boise States of the world. And I look forward to guiding and getting to that point. The state of Arkansas is ready. The state of Arkansas is ready. There's a lot of purple in here, but this state bleeds red. And I think this state is ready to have a little mix in it. And I truly believe that. And I will not stop working until that happens. The state of Arkansas is ready. The community of Conway is ready, and the central part of the state is ready for us to explode as a program and at the national level. So I'm excited about that. My commitment and love for this university is what I want to know that I'm going to give you guys. I want to finish by saying this is one of the most important places to me in the world. This is home. This is not a stepping stone for me. This is a destination for me. And I couldn't be more excited at this point in my coaching career to represent you guys, to represent our fans, to represent our administration, and do it to the best of our abilities. I just want you guys to know that I'm a Bear for life, and I can't wait to represent this program. That being said, I want to finish with this. A lot of y'all know Scott Breezy. He is our academic guy, and he's our student athletes academic coordinator. And let me tell you, he's as valuable as anybody in this program. He came to me this morning and said, I've been holding something for you. And I kind of laughed. I'm like, if you know Scott, you kind of worry about that. So, and so he said, I've been holding something for you. I was driving through the Dallas area a year or two ago, whenever it was, and I drove by Toyota Stadium. And he said, I picked up this rock, and I wanted to bring this to you. And he said, I wanted this to represent getting to the national championship and breaking through. And I thought that was one of the coolest things that somebody could do, on your first day on the job, really, first 48 hours on the job. This rock right here is going to sit on the front of my desk. And our players are going to look at this rock every time they come talk to me. And you know what? Whenever we get there, I'm going to bury this rock somewhere in there, okay? So I'm excited about it. I can't be more excited. I believe y'all are done hearing me. Any questions available? If there's any questions for myself, President Davis or Dr. Teague, would love to answer them. David.
Yeah, just a little over a week ago, you were an assistant coach with a frustrating loss in the playoffs. Kind of take us through that emotional roller coaster of the week, not just the 36 to 48 hours.
Well, first of all, nothing against the University of New Hampshire. What a great program. I mean, I think they've been to the playoffs 14 straight years. Phenomenal team. But I don't think there was any secret that we didn't play our best game. And I'll go to the grave saying we were the better team, but we weren't the better team on that day. So obviously a lot of frustrating emotion. Now, It's funny because I have visited with Coach Campbell, probably 2 or 3 different times over the last couple of days. I mean, I talked to him more than I had before. It's crazy. But he's always said to me, and I'm a believer in this, everything happens for a reason. And if that loss didn't happen, and I know we're all frustrated about it, but if that loss didn't happen, Coach Campbell probably wouldn't have had the opportunity to go down and interview. And when Coach Campbell goes and interviews, he usually gets a job. And so that opened up the opportunity for this to come open. And I was prepared and ready, and I consider it meant to be. And obviously, I don't ever want a loss to be meant to be, but this particular one worked out good for a lot of things, and I want to make sure you guys know that it's going to work out for y'all, I promise.
Another thing, you played and coached alongside, or coached you, Mike Norvell.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any vision that at some point you both would be Division I college coaches?
I knew Mike would be a great coach. It's when he got into coaching, I mean, it was evident as a teammate of his that he had a coach mind. I was a young player when he was a senior. I played with him as a redshirt and then a redshirt freshman. But he thought like a coach. He played like a coach. He would speak to me like a coach. And I think as a junior or a senior, he could see that I had a coaching maturity about me. That was something that he could see that I probably had in my future. So that probably allowed him to open up to me even more and respect what I said as a young player. So no, probably not in my wildest dreams did I think this, David. But wow, what a great way to represent a university with not only 2 alumni, but counting Charlie being at South Florida. What a great deal. We good? Anybody else? You can keep going, David. I'm good, man. We can go all day.
Kind of offensive philosophy, defensive philosophy. How much changes or similarities are you going to have?
Well, I know. Offensively, we're going to continue to do what we've done. We're going to run a balanced attack. I think we've got to run the football. When teams that win football games and win national championships late in the year, they're running the football. It's cold. It's wet. It's windy. You got to run the football. You got to run the football to win a national championship, and we've got the backs and the pedigree to do that. Defensively, I want to continue doing what we're doing. I want to be a sound defense. I want to keep the structure that we have recruited to over the last 4 years. I want to be sound, but I want to be aggressive. I don't want to sit on our heels. If you sit on your heels and play defense that bends but don't breaks the whole game, then usually you're going to break at some point. So I want to make sure we're sound and we execute a plan week in and week out. And then maybe one of the most important things that doesn't get mentioned a lot is special teams. We've got to have guys that are willing special teams players. Our frontline players will be special teams players. That's what makes championship football teams. No, you're good.
You coached with Coach Campbell, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously you were recruited and played under Coach Comp. What did you learn from either of both of those that really is valuable today?
Well, and Dr. Teague and I visited a little bit about that. They're really on the kind of opposite ends of the spectrums. Now, both phenomenal coaches and phenomenal coaching careers. Coach Campbell kind of fits more on the old ball coach side of things, and Coach Conk kind of fitted more on the I'm the CEO of the program type. I'm going to run a clean program, but I want to kind of mesh in between there in some way. I want to be a ball coach. I think that's what makes great football teams, but I also want to have the structure and organization that Coach Conk brought. So 2 great tutors for myself to work under and be a part of. I've seen the pedigree to win here, and I can promise you that we'll continue that. Dr. Pastor.
Do you have any early indication on how many of the early recruits we've been working on will stay committed to UCA versus will go to Campbell? Do you have any feeling on that?
Yeah, so far so good. We've been in constant contact with the guys that are committed to us. I'm not going to say a whole bunch about that because I don't want any violations or anything, but I do know that we have got a positive response. And other than our current players, my main focus with our assistant coaches was let's go touch our commits. Let's go make sure they're good because it's the same thing as these guys had to deal with. There's a little bit of change. I want them to know that the structure of what we were recruiting them as to begin with is exactly what we're going to continue, but we're going to grow and make it even better. So, so far, Dr. Pastor has been great. I mean, great response. Guys that have committed have reassured me that they're good. So I would anticipate a week from Wednesday having a pretty good early signing day, probably around half our class, maybe a little less, a little more, could be more or less, but definitely a positive response so far.
Just the moment that Dr. G said to you, you're the head coach at UCA, so you say you dreamed it up for a long time. It hit you?
See the smile? No, it really hasn't. It's funny, and it's probably going to sound very cliche to say, but man, it's been a whirlwind, and it hasn't hit me. Well, I say that it hit me in the face when I saw our players, and I said, man, this is what it's about. When I got a chance to bring those guys together as a team, it's funny because I brought them all up. We don't usually do this, but I brought them all up in the team room, and we actually kind of called it up, broke it down in our team room, and we all got in there and hugged each other, and that's when it got real. And I'm like, man, this is real. You got a chance to impact these guys' lives, and along the way win some football games. So. Yeah, it has hit me, but man, let me tell you, I may take Christmas Day off, but that's when I can sit there and reflect a little bit. But it's been amazing so far. Yes, sir.
What do you think is the number one thing that you'll have to instill in this program to get it to the level of North Dakota State as far as winning consecutive championships, or to the level of Boise State, picking up? What do you think is the number one thing you have to instill?
Well, I think one, you got to all pull on the same end of the rope, and when you're a family and you love each other, that tends to happen. But if you want to talk a little more philosophically, we've got to win the trenches. And when I say the trenches, you've got to have offensive and defensive linemen that control the line of scrimmage. You've got to have some ball players up there. When I say that, we're going to try to recruit the biggest, most physical, strong players we can find. On the offensive line, we're going to go try to find power lifters. We're going to go try to find wrestlers. On the defensive line, we're going to go try to find guys that knock the line of scrimmage back. And the teams that win consistently late in December and into January have that. I'm going to promise you this: we'll have the skill guys. That's not a problem recruiting the South. I can promise you that. We'll have the skill guys, and I sure Dr. Teague, to win a championship, you always got to have quarterbacks. We're going to have quarterbacks. But to take this thing to the national championship level, which every single one of us want to do in this room, it's about the line of scrimmage.
So for the record, how old are you?
31. I'll be 32 when the season starts next year, though. Hey, but let me tell you something. It's funny. David, it's funny. So I go to Jessica last night, and I looked in the mirror, and I swear I popped 2 gray hairs. I swear. I'm not making that up. You can ask her. I went. And I said, "Was this there yesterday?" Look, and that's always a question, and it's funny because that was something President Davis and Dr. Teague on Saturday afternoon we talked about. I mean, President Davis was like, "Look, I'm young for being a president, I mean, that's what it is, And if you look at the transition of college football, there's a guy for the Los Angeles Rams right now that graduated high school in 2004 running the LA Rams. I mean, it's just the trend of college football has gone younger and younger. And the goal is, to me, is that Dr. Teague hired the right football coach and didn't worry about the age. And I'm going to make sure we prove that. Abner?
You've always obviously been around UCA for a while. You know the South Lake Conference, big powerhouse team, San Jose State, is on the come up. You've lost, you said, about 22 seniors?
Around that, yes.
Last season. Big hit, Hayden Hildred, you lost them this season. Now you're going into next year, you're going into spring training with a relatively young group of guys. How do you feel about taking on that challenge leading into next season?
Well, that's part of the fun of coaching is teaching and developing a new group. And let me tell you, the core's back. Obviously you've got to replace the conference player of the year at quarterback, but we've got a stable of young guys that are waiting that I have no doubt in my mind will be ready to fill in that spot. But it's about developing the guys that we have, and I'm a big believer. And when I presented myself to Dr. Teague, one of the main things I told him is when we recruit players here, they're our players, and we're going to develop our players. It's not about moving on to the next one or whatever the case may be. So our guys are our guys, and we're going to continue to develop them. We're obviously going to we're going to hit the recruiting trail hard, find the best student athletes we can possibly find, and that's what it's about. I do know that as a staff last year, and this ought to add a little excitement to everybody, but as a staff last year, we actually thought that 2017 was going to be a great year, but man, watch out 2018 because of the young talent we did have in our program. So I'm excited about that, and Abner, I'm ready to get them out there in spring practice and start getting to work. We good? Hey, let's go Bears.